What's going on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all platforms? Welcome back to the Aboriginal Sports Network with my co-host, Coach Ed Gladney and NYG22. Hey, we're going to be talking about a subject here, Shedure Sanders, the great fall of Shedure Sanders. Why did it happen and how far will he fall? We're going to talk about that right here on the Aboriginal Sports Network. So let's get into it. Hey, we're going to kick off the original intro. Let's go.
Ricey K, the Raisin Man.
Or just the Giants organization that really put Daniel Jones in the forefront and carried him in that type of light, man, on national TV.
$223. The suspension also opens the door for the Texans to release Al-Shahir at.
Then in 1976, guess who was hired? Atis fans. This is where preference plays the biggest.
But I'm gonna have to knock this down and get the oohs and ahs of Houston.
Welcome to the Aboriginal Sports Network.
Hey, it's always good to play the original, man. I love that intro, man.
Yeah.
First official intro for the Aboriginal Sports Network. Hey, we're talking about the downfall of Mr. Shedure Sanders, man. And everybody that hated on that kid is getting a heck of a laugh right now. So it seems like a vendetta against this kid. You can't tell me that Shedure Sanders is not a first round pick. But for some reason, he fell past the Giants twice, the Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Saints, the Jets, the Raiders, and the Giants even traded back up in the first round, and then they took Jackson Dart over him. So the Giants passed on him twice. So let's listen to a report from Dan Orlovsky and Ryan Clark. It was put out, and Dan Orlovsky, points out a couple of things of why they may have passed on Shedure Sanders. So let's take a look.
If I were teams that entertaining drafting Shedure, I would want to sit down and watch a lot of the plays that led to the sacks and just have conversations around them. Why? Why did they happen? Because for me, one of the big takeaways is there's too many like situational, selfish sacks where they're unnecessary at times when you got points potentially on the board. This is 3rd and 3 from the 7-yard line. One, this ball should be thrown to the back part of the end zone once you see the safety drive. But that doesn't happen. It's 3rd and 3 from the 7, okay? And now all of a sudden it becomes 4th and goal from the 32. Again, this is 3rd down from the 28. Just throw this ball away. You lose the rep. The defense has won the rep. Throw it away. We've got a field goal shot from the 28, but instead it's a 10-yard sack. That happens too often. Then the non-dynamic athleticism. This is cover 2 man. Everybody man underneath, and we're just rushing the quarterback. I promise you, teams do this. I have heard coaches say, when we as a defense are playing quarterbacks that do not make us fear running, we're going to play 2-man in passing situations because our pass rush will handle it. And so they don't do that to Josh. They don't do that to Patrick. They don't do it really to Joe, Lamar. So that's the kind of the traits that you're talking about. So again, that's the flaws that you're going to have to figure out when you eventually draft Shedure.
So they saying that some of those flaws were he took too many sacks. He's not uberly athletic. And he actually brought selfish in the conversation as far as taking those sacks. Now, you see that they showed the BYU game, the worst game that they had the whole season. That's the only thing they really shown. And that first pass, you didn't see Tyler Batty nearly grabbing him right before he was getting ready to try to throw that ball. He was being grabbed. You can't get out of that. And then the other sack, it was 3rd and 28. They were already getting destroyed. He's trying to make a play for his team. It's a field goal. What a field goal gonna do when you down? What was the score? It was like 28-0 at that point. 28-3. Field goal gonna do in that situation in the fourth quarter? What's that gonna do? Tried to make a play. How many times you seen Jackson Dart do that at Ole Miss?
Mm-hmm.
Seen it a lot. Seen it a lot. Now, if you would have threw that ball and it would have been a turnover, they would have killed him for that. Then if he was just running all over the place, they would have killed him. Oh, he's not a great passer. He just runs. But now they put it the opposite effect and saying that he doesn't run enough, and that's why you don't pick him. Then you show a situation where he gets sacked when he's trying to break out the pocket with 4 dudes grabbing at his feet. But you don't show the play that he did against Baylor to take it into overtime so they can win their first Big 12 game when he scrambled around like a head chicken with his head cut off and got out the pocket. Show all them plays when he was getting out the pocket, ducking up and under people, which I'll praise Cam Ward for, but destroyed the Shedure Sanders for. You see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you're just making up stuff to bash the kid, which is sad. But how do y'all feel about it, man?
I mean, it's pretty sad where you go and you point out a handful of plays and say that this is an issue. And it's also sad to say that all these quarterbacks coming out have issues. Mm-hmm. But this guy can't get better for some reason. He can't be coached up. He's just selfish. He's just hard-headed. He's just cocky. He's just overconfident. He can't be taught. Apparently, that's kind of the vibe I'm feeling right now. Because with any other quarterback, the way they pointing out these flaws, that wouldn't be an issue. That would be something that you could teach and improve on. Maybe not the athleticism, but all this about him taking sacks, 2 unnecessary sacks, he can get better at that. He can learn to get rid of the ball quicker or not hold it as long. Like, what do you think these other quarterbacks do when they come into the league? Some have accuracy issues, anticipation issues, mental issues, confidence issues,
legal issues.
Yeah, right. So let's compare some other quarterbacks' issues to Shedure's issues. You know, like, this stuff is minor compared to stuff that you have to really, really hone in. Stuff that takes years. We talking about quarterbacks sitting for years to learn because they're so raw in their ability. But this guy here, you can put him in from day one. And even the analysts will tell you that. But he's not worthy of a first-round pick somehow. Make it make sense, bro. Go ahead, Coach.
Today, first of all, it baffles. It's mind-boggling to me what this kid is going through.
Yeah, it's actually
it just doesn't. He's the type of kid you would want to come into your program and help turn your program around. He's a natural leader. Now, we can sit here and nitpick whether it's Cam Ward. You can go last year. Last year, I had issues with Williams, and every, some of the quarterbacks Drake made last year. I mean, that happens. They're young. They're coming into the NFL. They have to be coached up to be NFL quarterbacks. So what you want to do is look at some of their traits and see if it's transferable. Now, today, I forgot who said it. Was it Foxworthy? I think it was Foxworthy. Today's quarterback has to be a three-phase quarterback. He has to be able to pass, run, and process or think the game of football. Now, if you want to say Shedure Sanders is not a runner, yes, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's a runner. But he knows how to manipulate the pocket, change the angles, and when the pass rush, he feels it very well. Now, yes, there are times that he does try to do too much. I've always felt that he's trying to do a little bit too much. But that's because sometimes he's in a situation where he doesn't have anything, and it's all reliant on him to make a play. And that's what I would want from my quarterback. Now, you can argue, well, taking a 10, 15-yard sack is not something that's good for the offense. And you're right. You're right. Because I would kill any quarterback who does that. Look, man, you can't take a sack like that. If you can get out the pocket, throw the ball away. Something to that effect. Or you know what? Right where you are, if you have to, just take that sack right then and there. Especially if you're in field goal range. But this kid also has the tools that you need to be a high-level winning program. The leadership skills. If we want to talk about just on the field, the skill levels. He throws a catchable, I keep saying this, he throws a catchable football where your receivers are able to use their hands, catch the football, and get yards after the catch. He does lead his receivers, especially if you have a DB in a trail technique. So he puts the ball in the right position. He doesn't have a cannon of an arm, but he can make all the deep passes. This ideal, 50% of his passes are at the line of scrimmage. That's because they don't have a running game. No one says that. Well, he has to do that because they don't have a running game. If he had a running game,
threw a lot of passes at the line of scrimmage too.
Exactly. And the thing about it is, he's good at play action when he does have a good run game. So that helps you open up other windows. He knows how to read pre-snap and post-snap.
Oh yeah, coach. Those short passes might be the result of him having one of the worst offensive lines in college football too.
Yes.
That's good coaching. If I know my damn offensive line is going to get my quarterback killed in 5 seconds, 2.5 seconds.
Didn't the New York Giants throw a lot of short passes?
Yeah.
A lot of teams do. A lot of teams do. And that's the thing, I mean, I really don't understand. And, people try to, make it seem like it's about his skill set, and okay, all 32 teams, no one drafted him. Okay, I get it. But someone to show me why. Because everything that I've looked at, and I've watched this kid since his high school days, I see it. And maybe I'm the only moron who sees something and then the rest of the world doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what they're painting it out to be. But we're going to hear from some other people that come up with other reasons why Shedure Sanders didn't get picked in the first round. Let's hear them. And this is Maggie and Perlov. That's what they call themselves. Boy.
They screwed this up. And they only have themselves to blame here. And I'm not talking about 20 years of of Dion being outspoken. That's not what I'm
Right.
talking about. I'm talking about this pre-draft process. They called their shot early that Dion was going to be like Archie Manning, and they were going to try to get Shedure where he wanted to go, like Eli.
I totally agree with you, but you think that what about all the other stuff?
Well, what's the other stuff?
The fact that Dion is a successful college football coach who said, "I want to coach my son in the NFL." I kept saying, you don't think Kellen Moore heard that quote? Like, you're going to draft a guy whose dad wants to take your job and is super famous? How about the fact that Dion is incredibly opinionated? He went to Colorado and cut his entire team on the spot. He does not hold back. If Shedure is not playing and the starter is struggling even a little bit,
Yes.
he's way too involved in this. And if you're a team, it's that I totally agree with you, but it's not just that. It's everything, Dion. It's a huge pain in the butt.
They screwed.
So they screwed this up by speaking highly of themselves, knowing who they are, being confident in themselves, and then they gave every reason because of his daddy. He's too involved. And we brought that up a long time ago too. Like, we're not stupid over here. I knew that was going to play a part of it too. And guess what, boy? We run this. You're not going to tell us where your son is going to play or who you want your son to play for, even though the Mannings did it. Nobody had a problem with that. You see what I'm saying?
And they're gonna
Nobody
do it
had a
again.
problem with that. Yeah, getting ready to
They
do it
ain't
again.
finna
with
do it
Archie.
again.
They finna do it again.
Ain't they gonna let him go anywhere and play?
So
To Jacksonville, somewhere like that? No.
my daddy's success is why I'm undraftable. My daddy having confidence in me and appraising me and telling the world that my son is good. That's a problem. How can you say that him wanting to coach his son is a problem when he took a 5-year contract with Colorado?
Thank you.
And if you a coach that is afraid of that, you a punk. Don't be a coach. You're supposed to have the utmost confidence in your abilities. Where's your confidence? So he was supposed to just come in there and be like, thank you, NFL. I need you so much. Thank you for even thinking about me. He doesn't come from that. They don't need your money. The Sanders make money on themselves. They bet on themselves all the time. Like Deion Sanders or not, he bet on himself and took that job at Jackson State. He could have easily went over there and been an assistant coach at Florida State. No, he bet on himself and said, I'm going to change it for HBCUs. Weren't HBCUs hot when he was there? Me personally, I thought he should have stayed, but he went to Colorado. Didn't they change Colorado around? Oh, so if he comes and say he wants to change the culture, and if you're not ready for your culture to change, then don't draft me. That's a major issue. Even though every quarterback that has been taken, the first thing they tell you is they're going to come in and change the culture of that team. That's the first thing they tell you. That man didn't go out there and say, any team, I'm not going to this team, anything. He didn't say that. You know what that man said? I'm going there to be legendary, and I'm going to be blessed in whatever situation I'm going to go into. Go into his files. He said that repeatedly. He didn't care if it was the Browns. He didn't care if it was the Titans. He didn't care if it was the Giants. He didn't care who it was. I'm just going to go out there and show my ability. I want to be legendary. But that's the issue. Oh, the Sanders bucked against the system because they're confident of themselves. And a black father, let's just keep it a buck, is involved in his son's life.
Here you go.
LeVar Ball, it's the Williams sisters' daddy. It happens all the time. Now, Deion Sanders was DeAndre Sanders. He would have been the #1 pick. I put money on that. but it's just something about black fathers. I don't know
That's
what
a
it is.
fact.
I know
Yep.
what it is, but it is what it is, I guess. But what y'all think about that, man?
Man, go ahead, coach, man.
From that clip, I mean, you touched on it because Deion Sanders wants to coach his son in the NFL. Now, I never heard that. I never heard him say that. I never heard reports until that video clip. That's why I was looking confused because he's just signed a contract to stay in Colorado.
That's a fact.
And it's where did he say he wanted to coach his son in the NFL? What I've heard him say is that he wants his son to go into the NFL and make a name for himself and do
That's
this
a
thing.
fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's always said.
Now, does he want to make sure his son is all right? Yes, okay. Does he want to make sure that you're not going to take advantage of his son? Yeah, that's okay. I would do the same thing. Look down at the contracts, go over the contracts, make sure everything is on point. Anything I don't understand, make sure I have a lawyer with me so we can go over all that. That's what a parent is supposed to do for their child.
Yes.
And I know other parents are able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have an outspoken person, and that's a problem. Because they can be outspoken and they can challenge you with what you want to do and you don't like it. As opposed to, you know what? Because I've always told any of my players,
and we have them.
I've always told my players, go ahead, challenge me. When I'm wrong, I'm gonna tell you when I'm wrong. When I'm right, I'm gonna show you why I'm right. That's one that's teaching them to stand up for themselves. And if they believe in something, you stand up for it. And if it's wrong, then you know what? You're man enough to accept accountability and say I'm wrong. But if you're right, it's going to be justified. And because somebody's outspoken and you can't handle that, that's sad. That's sad. Go ahead, NYG.
I mean, y'all hit all the points, man. I mean, it's one of those things where they don't like Aboriginal men speaking out. It went back, with the little LeBron James thing where the girl was like, "Shut up and dribble. You don't need to be talking." You remember that? That's one instance where it was public, but this thing has been going on for years. They bring these players, these athletes in, and you're going to get down with our program. Program. So it's a program. So you have to get down with that program. And if you don't get down with that program, then guess what? You don't get to be part of the program and we move on from you. In Shedure Sanders and Deion Sanders in them case, guess what? They're not getting down with no program. They are the program. So that's where this disconnect is. Because the NFL, like Pat said, they not finna let you just do whatever you want to do. Especially not no brother. Let's just keep it a buck. And that's what this all is stemming from. You loudmouth, you know what's. You're not going to get your way. We're going to show you. It's 32 of them. That's why all 32 passed. Because they wanted to send a message. Now, watch he'll go in the second round. Somebody will take him in the second round. But they did that to send a message. Remember, all 32 teams had their picks for the first time going into this draft. They did that to send a message. You got to read tea leaves and you got to read between the lines sometimes because everything black and white and plain as day to see. You know, that's what we do here for the people. You know, and that's what this is about, man. That's what this is about. The NFL sending them a message because they got out of pocket, as I like to say, in their sense, in the league sense. I'm not saying what they're doing is out of pocket. I'm standing up for that because as a father, you should. You know, as a father, you should. You should, and as a man, you should. Damn it. You should, you know, nobody tell you what to do and shut you up and tell your, you know, take control of your son. No.
So that's exactly what it is, man. I said it last night. It was the league sending the Sanders a message, and you know, to embarrass him as much as possible.
Yep.
That's a fact.
Shame.
And I think they knew something was up too. That's why he didn't show up to the draft, because they really would have poured it on them. You know, they really would have poured it on Shedure Sanders.
Cameras on him,
every time put the cameras on him. But you know what's funny? When the cameras went to the Shedure Sanders house and they saw that they were good, they paused the video during the during the stream, and they went away from him because they saw that. Because if he was sitting there looking sad, they would have had that camera in his face the whole time. But he wasn't sad. So this is what Robert Griffin III posted on his Twitter, and he's showing what Shedure Sanders said after the fiasco that happened to him.
We all didn't expect this, of course, but I feel like with God, anything possible, everything possible. I don't feel like this happened, you know, for no reason. All this is, of course, fuel to the fire. And under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't happen. But we understand we're on the bigger and better things. Tomorrow's the day. We're going to be happy regardless. Legendary.
Ooh.
So that was his response to that. Now we can go into some of the comments, and this is B Style. He says, crazy how people don't dislike him due to his talent. They dislike him simply because he grew up with a father, a black father at that. Pretty true. Pretty true. Says it was never about him. We as a black-owned, no institution, the white man has a monopoly on everything. And this was basically about humbling a cocky young black man. That is absolutely true. He said, bro should be happy he didn't get it drafted by the Jets, Browns, or some other dog shit franchise. That's kind of true too. I think if you would have went to the Browns, it'd have been a problem. Now, Paul Bovey, whoever this is, says not only did Tomlin take a pass, but he discarded Russ in favor of bringing back Mason Rudolph, who at the moment is the starting QB for the Steelers. Just have to ignore a few of the comments, which no matter how far-fetched is the convenient reach here in 2025. He's going to be a star in the NFL. This is what he needed. Going to the Browns in the second round, and he needs to have that chip on his shoulder for every team that passed up on him. Everyone needs to be humble. Is how you respond that makes the difference. I don't really think he needed to be humble because he was just confident in himself. I don't think he needed to be humble.
Why everybody got to be humble? Why everybody got to be quiet? Don't talk. You shut up. You don't say nothing. You don't have an opinion.
John,
we can put all the narratives and news out there we want to about you, but you don't say nothing.
John Corky. The young man was prescribed a dose of humbleness. There goes that humbleness again. He doesn't deserve his jersey being retired at Colorado until he demonstrates sustained outstanding performance and contributions to football, his alma mater. He is a great athlete, but perhaps a bit more humility would serve him well in the near future. Like I said, stay in your place. What else would he or anyone else looking for a job have said? Browns take him first pick tomorrow. They were already considering him, I'm sure. This is so weird for a guy that got his number retired. He is Ryan Leaf. Okay.
Wow.
Like, yeah, I bet he has under 100 wins in his career. How much do you want to bet? I don't think a lot of quarterbacks. Okay.
100
Again,
wins.
though, yeah, 100 wins. A
God
good
damn, how many
quarterback is
years
going.
you got?
You know what I'm saying? You got to play a whole lot of years to get up to 100 wins,
Yeah.
unless you're on a really, really good team.
So you going 17-0 if you got him, yeah.
Yeah, you know, $100,000 chain in a mock draft room set up for cameras. So humble, laugh out loud. The real truth: he isn't an NFL level starter, and the GMs didn't buy into Deion's hype. Anyone who would call Shedure slipping in the second round racism is being intellectually lazy. They're concerned about him being able to lead a team based on what I believe they see as character flaws because he's flashy and it comes across as a distraction. The message sent to Shedure Sanders from every NFL team is that you are not a franchise quarterback. He has a horrible attitude and is an average athlete. He might be a serviceable backup one day, but doubt it because he will think he is too good for that. Mike Tomlin didn't take him. I guess that make Mike Tomlin racist, or at least that's what Twitter's been telling me. Yes, this will sound judgmental because it is. Watching Shedure Sanders roll around Colorado's campus in a Rolls-Royce Phantom was like seeing a freshman pull up to an econ one-on-one in a spaceship. Huge red flag. Maybe he's not grinding film at 5 a.m. like Brady, more like brainstorming TikTok collabs from the driver's seat. But he was actually working with Tom Brady the whole draft process. And Tom Brady has been working with him since a kid. But okay. Respect RG3, but I disagree with this opinion. His character is the reason he went undrafted. Man, this is crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy work right now.
Yeah, that's bad, man. And that's just a little bit of it. That's just a tad bit of it, man. So basically, he deserves humility. He deserves to get embarrassed. He deserves to be humbled. He deserves everything that he gets because his daddy is Deion Sanders, propped up his son. All those other quarterbacks that get NIL deals. You're not talking about freaking Carson Beck sucking at freaking Georgia of all places, and goes and gets $4.5 million to go play for Miami. You didn't say anything about Cam Ward's NIL deal. You didn't say that him and Travis Hunter with their NIL deals gave other players on the team NIL deals that didn't get money. You see what I'm saying? You didn't report that. Go ask those kids at Colorado if the Shedure Sanders is not a leader. Why are all those kids around him after that pro day crying and praying with him? Why is he one of the only players that could tell Travis Hunter to shut the fuck up and go make a play?
Bruh.
Why? Why everywhere they went, that team went up. Why would Deion Sanders take a 5-year contract with Colorado when he could have easily went over there and took the Cowboys job? Why would he do that if he wanted to coach his son in the NFL? That his son can't go nowhere without him. Even though the whole process, he's saying, "Man, I'm so happy that I get to watch my son go get drafted." Crying at the end of the game, saying it's end of an era. My son gets to leave and go play in greater pastures. Like, make it make sense, man.
It don't, man. It don't make no type of sense, and they're gonna run with these narratives that he can't play, even though when you watch the tape, you clearly see that's not the case. The kid can absolutely ball out. So that's a lazy take. his father being the issue is a lazy take because Deion has to worry about coaching his own team, which is the Colorado Buffaloes. Lazy take.
And
The
so
NFL and college seasons mirror each other. So how is he going to be worrying about Shedure Sanders' games and worrying about meddling in that shit when he got to focus on Colorado? So do y'all, what kind of people y'all think these people are? They just everywhere? Got antennas everywhere?
and this is what worries me. Giants taking Jackson Dart over this kid. Because we did it twice. We didn't do it once. We did it twice. Colin Cowherd has this to say. And this actually kind of scares me.
Giants considering trading up for a quarterback, Jackson Dart, later in the first round. Bad businesses tend to overcompensate for previous mistakes and reach. So the idea the Giants now think Jackson Dart is the dude for the future in New York. Let me just ask you this. You ever notice that a lot of the quarterbacks that don't make it, you weren't paying a lot of attention to in college, and they suddenly got really hot after they stopped playing college football? E.J. Manuel, Blake Bortles, Paxton Lynch, Zach Wilson, Daniel Jones. We never talked about them when they were playing in college. You know, most of the guys that end up being stars in this league, we have an idea who they are as they enter their last year. Giants would move up to get him. Boy, oh boy, is this overcompensation.
Colin Cowherd actually has a freaking point. Most of those quarterbacks that you don't hear from until after they play, they don't pan out. And guess what? You didn't hear shit about Jackson Dart being traded up for until 2 days before the NFL draft.
2 days.
You didn't hear shit about Jackson Dart being a high pick all the way through the draft process. You know what made Jackson Dart hot? I mean, it's the bashing of the quarterback in question we're talking about now. It's Shedure Sanders. So he should actually thank Shedure Sanders for being able to be
right. Wow.
Those same people saying, oh, they passed on Shedure Sanders, the Steelers. You know the Steelers passed on Jackson Dart too, right?
Uh-oh. Now you making sense. Shh.
And if the Browns wanted Jackson Dart that bad, they have way more ammunition than the Giants to go up and get him. And so now the report, Sean McVay was so in love with Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
No.
Dudes from come on now.
But I'm glad, I'm glad it is happening to Shedure Sanders because now he really gets to come in and show you that I don't give a damn about you, NFL. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I'm glad that he's able to do things like this and show that you don't affect me. You don't affect me. And him having a good time as a young man, if this is what stops you from drafting him, then it is what it is. He's in a compromise with his family. Now, for the people that say, yeah, look at him, he's doing music and he's doing all that, show all the motherfucking time that he was out there training the whole draft process with the number 1 pick, Cam Ward. Cam Ward considered him a rival. That's how good he was. If he was considered the number 1 pick, Cam Ward considered him a rival. They'll post that. They'll post him doing a song after you trashed him in the first round. And now he's just going to have some fun with his family at the end of the night. He ain't out in no club. He ain't out there in the streets. He's in the confines of his own home, even though it was an illustrious home, because they already got it. They don't need it from me. They already got it.
We like nice things, you know?
Yeah. But like I said, it is what it is, man. I think this is a hit. And guess what? They're still going to be standing. He's still going to be a Sanders. He's still going to have nice things. And he's still going to play football. And you're just making it worse on yourself. And whoever gets this kid, and you give him a shot, I think you're going to get one hell of a player.
Yeah.
I really do. And I hope he gets to play the Giants with Jackson Dart playing too. I want to see that. I do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be calling the game. Yeah, I'm going to want the Giants to win, but I'm going to want him to win too, because the NFL did that boy dirty. They had to do that boy like that. But it doesn't affect them. You know, they started something on their own selves. They created their own culture. They created their own business. Kind of something like we're doing here. But it is what it is.
They be
man.
hating on us too.
Gotcha. Man, but y'all got anything left about the fall of Shedure Sanders? And there's a lot of people that are very happy right now, and that's sad. That is sad. Happy about a young man's downfall.
Just hope it doesn't keep going and last much longer. Hopefully, you know, he's going in the first round, because if he gets past a lot of those teams we just talked about in the second round, where is he going?
Yeah, it can happen again. So, and they might do it again. That's how the NFL works. Like you said, it's 32 of them. Shut you up. We'll show you. But guess what? He's still gonna go. He's gonna sing his song again. Let him go undrafted. Then what you gonna do? How you want to explain that shit? So sooner or later they're gonna have to be like, okay, just all right, go get him, Raiders. Go get him, Tom Brady. Go get your guy. He's we can't do too much more to him. They ain't budging.
Right. Ain't caving in.
Yeah. He's not embarrassed. He's still himself. Really nothing we could do to him. And now we can only hurt ourselves if we continue to do this. So go ahead and get him, Tom. And more than likely he'll probably be a Raider. But it is what it is, man. This has been, I don't know what this episode has been. What episode is it? I guess all 32 of Mock Draft Center. I don't know. I just know there's a lot of hate in the air, man. And that's bad. Get that hate out your heart, man. Leave that kid alone, man. He ain't did nothing to nobody. But be legendary.
That's it, man. That's it.
Man, peace, man.